Hi Vivek. Okay. Hello everyone. I guess we are live now. So good morning, good evening, wherever you are, guys. It's nice. We are joining on a Saturday weekend morning, and I think the best way to utilize our weekends is like going through morning learnings. So that's why we kept this session in the morning. That in the morning, fresh mind, we are going to give some good learnings, and we then the weekend will go in a nice way. So today, like we have Vivek, and we are going to be discussed on the Java on Azure. It's a second episode of the series Java on Azure. Today we are going to discuss about how we can build and deploy our Spring Boot apps on the Azure Kubernetes services. So it's a well managed service on the Azure platform, which we are going to like. It's mainly going to be a hands-on. It's not like we are going to present you a slides and you are going to be get bored. So you all can just follow along with us. And if you face any issue at any step, we are here to help you. You just ping us, and we will be ready to resolve your issues so that we can maximize the learnings. Okay. So just a little bit about ourselves, like who we are. We are Azure developer community, and now we are more than 7,000 members, and we are doing the sessions every week, like every day on mostly on every topics. So you just, if you want any specific topics, you all can just ping us that hey, we need to like you learn about this technology and all. We are ready to help you guys, and we are also like inviting the organizers. So if you are like enthusiastic to learn and organize sessions, we are here, we are open to welcome you. So now I just, without any further delay, I'll just ask Vivek to start the session. So over to you, Vivek, now. Vivek. Yeah.
Yeah, you can hear me?
Yeah, Vivek, sure, I can hear you.
Perfect. Hey, Deepak, thank you. While I share my screen, thank you for the introduction and obviously the Saturday morning learnings. It's learning for me as well because I'm going to interact with a lot of developers out here. So I'm just sharing my screen. Let me know once you see the screen.
Yeah, I think I can see your screen.
Perfect. Thanks. So, hi all. Good morning. Basically, we are, as Deepak mentioned, this is our second session on Java on Azure, specifically from Spring Boot apps. How you can use the Spring Boot apps on Azure. Before I deep dive into the session, I just want to introduce myself. I'm Vivek, and bit of software development for 9 years, then DevOps, then being a co-founder, then part of the DigitalOcean team as a developer advocate. Today I work at Microsoft as a developer marketing manager. And to find more, about the code, the tutorials, various other things which I do, it's all available on my GitHub repo, which is, again, I've mapped it as a GitHub pages to my domain, which you can go back to the Wikibytes, and you can actually figure out, access all the activities which I do. And you can get the code base for this session, get the recordings, get the tutorials which I have been using to drive these sessions. So make sure you visit that. Um, I know, as Deepak told, it's all hands-on. No more slides. We'll not figure. We'll not spend much time in the slide decks and other things. But before I deep dive into two parts of this session, I just want to make sure we discuss what we did last week. So 17th, which is again last week, we did work on the building and deploying the Spring Boot app on two of the services. One was the Azure App Service, and the other was Azure Container Instance. Obviously, we did use Container Registry as well, Azure Container Registry as well, to host the containers. So, to get the tutorials and recording, as I told you, it's all available out there on the GitHub repo. And today's session will focus on two things. One is introduction to Kubernetes. Obviously, this session is not about Kubernetes introduction as a whole, right? So it's very important to understand Kubernetes, to deploy it on Kubernetes. So I'm going to just brief it and talk about little architecture about it, and then and also I'll spend some time in terms of understanding the pods and namespace and services, so that we can use those services, and we will see how we can deploy the Spring Boot app to Kubernetes, especially from the Azure Kubernetes Service. I know last week we did build a Spring Boot app, and we created a container out of it, and sorry, image out of it, and then deployed it as a container to the Azure Container Instance. Definitely, I will go through it again. It's not like I will be doing a demo of it, but I'll just go through the steps which we took, so that it's kind of a refresher to understand how we did it for the Spring Boot app, and then we will use the community service to build and deploy it. Okay, so to get started, I'll just go to uh, the container. So this is a link where you can actually download and create a pre-built Spring Boot app, web app. There's so many things here. You just go to initializer, select the project, select the language you want to choose, and then there is whichever version, and give the right names like Vivek, vs hyphen demo. You can also name the artifact is demo, and then you can create a description and other things, and choose the Java version and packaging which you want, and also dependencies. So there's a bunch of dependencies which you can choose from. So basically, for this specific session, uh, what is Spring Boot, why you need to use Spring Boot, and other things, we will have it in the next session, which we are having on 31st, where I'm going to spend some time on why Spring Boot and why it is getting popular, and how it is being used as a microservice, everything. So there is so many things, there are tools available for this to use. So I've just taken the web app, Spring Web dependencies. I've just chosen that, and then there is generate button here. If you generate, what happens is it creates a package, and we saw that last session as well. When it creates a package, it would create it, and we can download it. So let me show you how the package will look. So this is the package which we created last time, and it's basically it's just a zip package, and once you unzip it, you will see the code. Obviously, there was no Docker file, we built it, and there is the POM and other files were available for us to use. So what we did last week was that, let me go to the code. Okay, so we took the code, Spring Boot code, and we did change a couple of things, and we did add created a simple microservice called slash message, and we created a message. And what we can do is we can edit it and recreate it and deploy it and see how it works. So we can say welcome to Spring Boot app on Azure Kubernetes Service, right? So this is my GitHub Copilot, which is actually giving me a output here. This is nice. Okay, so I'm just saving this, and we had already added a couple of things in the form. That is the package name. So this was the package name which we downloaded, and this remains as it is. The Docker file remains as it is. We don't have to do anything. It is just a simple Docker file to build the image. So this is edited, so that means we need to rebuild it as version 2, right? So otherwise it will look the same version. So what we will do is we'll go here and we'll go to my images. Okay, now I already have version 1 of the same thing, and I want to build it into version 2. So what I'll do is I'll build, I'll make it version 2. Notice the image IDs. This is the same, right? And now it is version 2. It will be changed. Okay. So now if I go to Docker images, you can see here I have version 2. Right, so this is the tag, and this is the version 2 of it. So all I have to do is to push this version 2 into the to my container registry. So basically this is container registry is already available on my Azure portal. So I have already created a container registry. So let me show you the container registry. This was the one. So I already have the container. So it's very simple to create a container registry. Just click on create a resource, and go to containers, container registry, and select the resource group, and then give whatever name you want to give. Say for example something, and then keep going into this. Next. So it's very simple. So just create and it will get created. So I've already done that for you, and because I don't want to spend time in creating a new one, but make sure to use it internally. You provide at the access, go to access keys, and make sure that you enable it, and you should be able to use it as an admin user within the Azure, right? So that is one, and I've already uploaded one of the image to be used in the demo. So this version 1 is available here. So we need to deploy version 2, right? So which we created. So we'll go here and go to my Docker extension and click on the one which we built now, and then push, and it automatically picks up my registry name, version 2, and it is getting deployed. Okay, so it will take some time to deploy. While it does, I will create a Kubernetes cluster so that we can use a Kubernetes cluster. Containers, this is very simple. Just create resource. You'll come here, go to containers, and you can create Kubernetes service, and we will create Kubernetes service because I just want to make sure we don't spend time in show 2. And then we have a couple of zones, and this is manual because I don't want to have a scale method. I'll just use 2, and I can choose the size of the uh, worker node. So I'm selecting that, and then there is node port. I don't want any of the virtual node or anything else. I just looking, everything is default, and I'm using the default stuff, and I'm creating load balancer just to use. I'm also providing the container registry details so that I can connect to my container registry without any issues. It is easily connectable. So this was the one which I had created, so I'm just giving those details, and I'm just enabling stuff, and we are just there, and it reviews, it validates all the information which we have provided. And while it is validating, it also ready. So then I'm going to go create it. So it's very simple. So we created a cluster. I'm going to, obviously we'll see the purpose of the cluster and things which are required, but we just created a cluster just to make sure we wait for this deployment to happen. So we did deploy this code now. So there is a deployment which has happened. This We built the image. We push this image to the my container registry. So you can just go back to my container registry, all resource container registry, and go to the repositories. So version 2, right? So here is the version 2, and we are going to use that version 2 to deploy. So version 1 is already deployed on a container, on a Kubernetes with a message, and with the container instance as well. So we can go back to my slide. While Kubernetes cluster is getting created, uh, you know we'll try and understand how Kubernetes work, right? So, like any other architecture, Kubernetes cluster is also master slave enabled. And here in this diagram, you can see there is a control plane, which is the master node, which is called as master node, and there is agent nodes, which is called as worker nodes. And the most important thing about Kubernetes is, as a user, you are providing the information to the master. You are actually designing the desired state. This is how my infrastructure has to be managed, and this is how I want my application to be running. The workloads management should happen, and the workload should run. And as soon as you provide the information to the master through a YAML file, using the client, which is kubectl, which is there, you provide it through kubectl to the master, and through API servers, and through control manager and schedulers, which is there, and also exit database, which is a key pair value database, memory database, which is holding all the information about the clusters, the complete cluster, in fact. So using these different handles, master decides on how to deploy your application to the worker nodes. And in worker node, you can see that there is kubelets, which is actually interacting with the API servers. They are the ones who is responsible for running your code, which is running your containers within different worker nodes. And obviously it's a simple binary, which is out there. And this is how basically it works. And if you can if you can notice that there is something called as pods, which is here, which is having containers. So basically a pod can be one container, or it can be a multiple containers within it. So the basic unit within Kubernetes, it's pod. And it's called, anyways, it's running couple of containers. So to understand more, could become a expert in Kubernetes. There is a learning path which is available. Just go to this link. Whenever I talk about Kubernetes with the community, I usually splash this particular link so that you can go back and explore various things. So please take a please note of this particular link, and go and deep dive into this. And there is, to understand this, these are the three things which I'm going to use in today's discussion as well: the pause, and the namespace, and the services. We did discuss about pod. It is nothing but multiple containers or a single container, but it is the basic unit of running something in Kubernetes. And namespace is nothing but you're logically partitioning within the cluster. So say, for example, in this diagram, you're creating engineering namespace, where specifically in that engineering namespace you have a blog service which is accessing this pod. So you can make make a understanding of the service as well here, right? So the service is nothing but a load balancer out here, and it's basically you're using this blog service to access the pods, right? And that is the various way to use the deployments. We will see that in the YAML file how we can create the service on a kind deployment, and we can use that. And replica sets, and for daemon sets, and deployment, understanding of deployments, rolling updates, rollbacks, and other things. I have done a demo of it and have spoken in various forums, so you can all find all the details here. If you go to this website, you'll find all the details here. And it's a YouTube channel. I've already uploaded all the videos out there so that you can figure that out. So let us refresh this. This is how version 2 is ready, and is our Kubernetes cluster ready? Yep. So our cluster is also ready. So this is how the cluster will look once you deploy the cluster. So what we did now is we took the code, and we created a version 2 of it, and we that image is pushed to the container registry, and from the container registry we are going to push it to the Kubernetes cluster. So to do that, we need to design the YAML file, right? So the YAML file will look like this, and this is a simple YAML file. What we will do is we will edit this file and provide the right set of information so that we can deploy it. And this is a kind deployment we are using, right? Deployment is nothing but it's a high level deployment where you have these labels and replications and the container spec. So it's kind of holding the pod. And also there's a kind service where you can actually, on top of that, you can add a load balancer to access this particular service, to create an external IP address on top of it to use it, right? So let us do this way and say Wikibytes, we can say GitHub. Okay, and the same name we are going to give it on the app as well. So basically I'm creating a namespace with an app name as this. I'm also naming all my, even the container, I'm naming it as the same. So if you notice this, right? So if you notice this image, this is the image path. So here is where we need to change the image, because we did, our image path is very different, right? So let me show you our image path. So this is what we have deployed. So I'm just copying this and adding it here so that we use our own registry, which we have, and our own code. And then we provide the same name in this name, and we have created a load balancer. We're exposing the port, and we know which of the target port we want. And then we have, this is a uh, simple YAML file to deploy. So by the way, uh, to deploy it onto Kubernetes, what is required is, most importantly, there are two kinds you can deploy. One is deploy with resource view, which I'm going to do as a demo with the YAML file and deploying it, which we just right now built it. And the other one is through kubectl. So I'm just putting it out here so that you can go and give it a try. uh, do all the steps the same, but try and see if you can execute a couple of commands and just read about it, so that we know that you were able to deploy and you were able to use it. So let me do this demo of resource view deployment just through a YAML file. I can also deploy it through various other ways as well. Let me go back to this. Let me copy this. I've copied it. I'm coming back to my Azure portal, and here is where my Kubernetes cluster is there. So what I'm going to do now, so if you notice, this is on my uh, container instance. So this is on my container instance. This is on my, another Kubernetes cluster where we have deployed it, and this was the message which was there, and we edited the message, by the way. So we did change the code to this, right? So it's basically, it's a new image which we are taking, and then we are going back to our deployment, and I'm selecting the namespace here. And once I select the namespace here, it will list all the namespaces. I'll create a new namespace, and it's simple. It's like it's asking me to type in the YAML file, and we have done that. We have already copied it. So I'm just pasting that YAML file here, right? And image. So I'm giving the right image details. It's version 2. It's not version 1. And this is what we are going to deploy now. And just say add. It just creates a new service and creates a new deployment. So we did create new deployment, and we did create service, which was different, and we didn't give different names, which gave the same name to make sure it is simple. And where do I see this? I go to my services. I can see my deployment here. So you can see my deployment here. You can see this, and you can see my IP address as well. So I can just copy this IP address, and we will come here and paste it and say messages. It should come up. Typed it wrong, right? It should be message. It should not be messages. It will take some time because it's taking the container, building it. We did change the code, or we didn't save it. I did this cluster. Where's my namespace? So is YAML file. Where's my image? Why it is taking the version 1 when we gave it version 2? Did we go wrong somewhere? But anyways, this is how you deploy it. I don't know why it is taking version 1. Did we save it or build it properly? We did save. and then build it, right? Let me see. Put it to version 3. And deploy this version 3 to push. So anyways, this is how you deploy it, but I'm trying to see why version 1 and version 2 there is a mismatch. Let me deploy it and see this in the container instance, why it is throwing version 2. Version 3 is here. Okay, now I'll just go here and create a resource group, container instance, Java on Azure, and say demo vs Azure container instance. Oops, why there is no version 3 here? It does not come. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can just type it, because this, I mean, the process to deploy is the same. It's just that I'm trying different thing. Why it is changing the versions? Deepak, you have any questions in the chat? If you can read out to me. This version 3 is here. Deepak, you there?
Okay. Yes, Vivek. Actually, we didn't receive any such message. Guys, if you are following along, you can just send us your messages. And if you are facing any issue like in deploying or building, you can just post the message and we will help you.
Just let me know if there is some questions. I'm just trying still.
Yeah, sure, Vivek.
Oh, now it is showing up. 3 public report demo vs, and I'll add 8080 as my target. TCP advanced command need. I do have this running, and then everything is fine. Let's see this one. So I have the cluster running, so that is there, but I don't know why. Let me do this way. This while this happens, let's go to my cluster, kubeshort 2, namespace, add new one. Deployments, everything. I'll change it to demo vs, demo vs, demo vs, and this is 3. Okay, version demo vs MOVs. Okay, you will see new deployment created, new service created. Okay, this is container instance as well. Okay, anyways, that will go. We will see this. This is up. Let me copy this link and go here and say message. Again, I'm getting version 1. It's not getting updated. Code is not getting updated through my image is wrong, I believe. Something is wrong with my image. Anyways, so basically you will have to do this way. uh, just build on top of that and deploy it. This is how you can deploy. Just go to namespace and do that stuff. Something wrong with my image. I'll have to figure that out, but that is how you can do it. Any questions, anything which you have, Deepak?
Uh, no, I think Vivek, we can discuss like what how the container works, like pod and all in the Kubernetes.
That I have. I You can do that in this YouTube video. It's already available with the detailed discussions. Um, you, if you want to understand how pod works, I mean, like, what question was that?
Yeah, so like you said, it's the basic unit of the Kubernetes. So maybe like audience would like to know like how the basic unit like in this slide, right? The pod.
Yeah. So basically, the pod is part of the containers, right? So there is three containers. Here it can be one container or more containers as well. So the in Kubernetes we call it as pods, as a single container. So if you go to my YAML file, right, I can have multiple containers here, which is as part of this, not in the same way, but in different, designed it in a different way, but can have multiple containers, which is part of the different deployment stuff, right? So that is one thing. So you can call that as pods. And it is called as pods. And then namespace and other things are logical, partitioning, and then services is to access it. So we did create the service as well. If you see this, we did create the service. This is how it runs. The service is here.
Yeah, okay.
Let me go to the one which I built as of now. Container instance, one more container instance I did create. Where is the other one? Go to my resource. Anyways, yeah. So here, yeah, my image itself is something wrong. It's not building it. Oh, I know the mistake. This is Java. That's what happens when you know
You are
you're
not okay. You are
you're
not
using
building.
lot. That's what happens when you're using lot of um, that's what happens. You should not use a lot of programming languages.
Correct. We
So what
mix
I
with
did was, I didn't do the MVN install. So that means I didn't create a new build at all in my local system before I do the, you know, building the image. So it is obviously taking my old code.
Yeah.
Now
We,
it should.
correct. We need to build for different programming languages. We need to like keep in mind like how we
I
are
was
using.
like worrying why my code is not working. Anyways, now it's like now I should be able to build it. Now I built a fourth version of this, and now we can see this fourth version is here. Now it's a few second changes. Now I'll do a pull request. Sorry, this is has to be push request, and then this for right. So it is getting deployed. Sorry, it is the images is being sent to my container registry. It is taking some time. Executing docker push. So this is the one we need to change. So we will change this to 4 and we'll edit this just to say corrected MEN installed.
Correct.
We'll give it a name MEN installed. So at least we'll remember what mistake we did. So this is how you do it. And hopefully this is how it works. Let's see. We'll just create mn install, mn install. So yes, I was just wondering why my, you know, Docker build is failing all the time, and I tried different things, but then it takes some time to debug it, right? So this is how you also debug stuff. So let's see this one and see if this one works. We have deployed stuff. Go back here. So let me go back to my all resources and go to my container registry and check whether the fourth version of this code is available. Yes, it is available. So now I'll go back to my home, kube show, Kubernetes, and then we'll go back and create a new namespace with mvn installed. So this is mvn installed app, mvn installed stuff. This is fourth version, and then mvn installed, and we have done it here. So we'll create a new service, new deployment, the way we did it, and then we just come here and go to the services, and it's here. So this is the link. Where is it? Copy link to address and then message. Hopefully it runs. Yo, we did it. So this is how you can deploy apps to Kubernetes. It's pretty simple, straightforward. This is a hack which you should try and let me know how you did it and steps for it and see if it works for you. And if it does not, then let me also know about it. So this is a simple one, and you can actually find the tutorials for this, everything which is required for this on my GitHub repo. I will be posting the tutorials, the code base as well, and with the Docker file, everything. I will just upload it today by today evening, so that you can actually go back and reuse that and see how it works. And 31st, we will see Spring Cloud and Azure Spring Cloud, and how to deploy these apps in the Spring Cloud, and I will also touch upon the rest of the things which we did as a kind of a recap for all the things which we have done till today, so that you will be able to understand end to end. So we should be able to drive this. So by the way, if you have any questions, just stop and
Uh, yes, Vivek. Govardhan is asking for the document for reference. Right? If we can give the
document for.
document like reference for like we showed the link of Kubernetes and all your GitHub repo. We can post it in the comment section. Right?
Oh yeah, it's very simple. You can actually. Oh, you want that link? Is it? It's here. So this is one.
Hmm.
So both the things are the same. If you, this is just a GitHub pages, so that it's easier to find, and this is direct GitHub repo.
Okay. The another question is, can you brief out ingress? So I think it's he's talking about the ingress like in Azure Kubernetes service. I think we did like deployment process, right? So you can if you can explain it.
See, ingress is nothing but finding the service. So we can do a session for that, because again, it's a too deep discussion. It's basically how do we find different services, right? And obviously, there are different ways, and there is sidecar architectures and other things where you should be able to use. So I know it's an interesting ask. We should definitely do a session on that. I'll I'll definitely build a demo for that, and we will definitely have the session.
That's great, great.
But if you
Then we
need
will
more
connect.
information, but if you need more information of all this, just go to the Kubernetes basic videos series from Brendan Burns. It has all those interesting topics. If you can see, almost 18 videos is there from Brendan Burns. So you can make use of those 18 videos. He has explained it from the architecture perspective, from the deployments, ingress, and sidecar architecture. Everything has been explained very beautifully in this specific thing. So just go to this link, and you go to this, the second day 2 to day 5, you will find amazing stuff.
Okay. I've added one more question. Like when we say the YAML file can contain multiple containers, do we mean multiple containers which will work together to make the application work?
No, it depends on the your application. Obviously, there will be multiple containers when you deploy an application, complicated applications. It's like this one. Whatever we deployed is a very simple one. Just imagine this API is doing a lot of stuff. It has more things in the backend, uh, talking to a stateful services and other things, and there is so many things involved in when you build an application, right? So definitely there will be multiple deployments. Within the namespace, you will create multiple deployments of these pods as part of the containers, right? That is something which is definitely there. uh, it is also, you should also think from how you want to architect it. uh, Basically, a pod can have multiple containers as well. So uh, uh, containers which are dependent on each other, you're making it as one single pod makes sense.
Correct. Right.
So this is the link. If people are looking for link, this is the link. Just can you post it in the chat, Deepak, this thing, so that people can find it, because I see a
Yes.
lot of questions which is there.
Sure. I'll post it right.
Yeah. So any other questions? I see a couple of questions. Where can I find for Docker file? Where can I find GitHub link for Docker? Yeah, I'll anyways post the code itself with the Docker file. Everything will be available for you. How can we pass username and password secret to Kubernetes cluster? Yeah, that is something which is already there in terms of cluster secrets. You can host the cluster secrets, create cluster secrets, and host it using kubectl. You can do that. There are different strategies to do it. Whether you work in as you told, key vaults, Azure key vaults, and various other things are there. It's I would even suggest go back here. It's here is again your answer is here. So there's a reason why I splashed this link all the whenever I talk about Kubernetes, I splash this link because most of the things is answered in these videos, and he talks about the secrets, how secrets is used, what are the different strategies to use it. Anything else, any other questions?
I think it's a great stuff, Vivek. We we have no more questions. You guys, you can always reach out to us if you feel like you have any doubt or any questions at any place. If you are facing, you can reach out to us and post your comments, and we will help you out.
Yeah, I'm sorry for the glitch. I didn't do the MVN install.
No, no, it's all good, Vivek. Actually, when we are dealing with multiple languages, then it happens. We forget the basic step, like we need to build it before pushing.
Yeah,
Correct, correct. No issue. Okay, I think it's a great step, and I think the audience have really like learned a lot
so
on Saturday morning. Mm,
thanks Deepak. Have a nice time. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye bye. Okay, I think we are now we are good to close because we can't see. Bye.